Hello friends, this time we are going to go back to our favorite watercolors. We are doing a painting of some flowers which are perched on some glass sheets kept vertically. For that, taking a masking fluid, we are just blocking out a few of the areas that we would like to remain blank or white, such as the pollen of the flowers or the shine of the glass sheets or some white blobs here and there. And then we start with the flower petals. Now, since this is watercolor, we are using a very fluid, transparent, translucent sort of a watercolor effect, for which we just apply some water on the paper surface, and while the paper is wet, we will be introducing color into the wet area, which is the wet in wet technique of watercolors. Now this is a handmade paper that I am using for watercolors. It is a handmade block wherein a number of drawing sheets are kept one on top of the other and stuck at the edges so that it remains firm and we need not tape down the paper onto any board or any surface. Now, as we are doing the flowers, we just start with light tones of the flowers moving towards the dark, considering a light source coming from a particular direction. In this case, it is the top left corner of the paper, and therefore all the surfaces facing the light source will be in light tones, and those against the light source will be in dark tones. Here I am using the wet in wet technique as well as color on color. The wet in wet technique is the backbone of watercolor style, as it gives the most translucent sort of an effect wherein colors merge into each other very easily in a most fluid manner. And the color on color technique, wherein you introduce color onto a wet color already painted, which also aids in the merging of colors. Most of these techniques have been explained in my earlier videos on watercolor techniques, which are in two parts, which you can always refer to. For painting the glass surfaces, I am going to wet the surfaces, each of them one by one, with the help of a brush loaded with water, and then introduce color into the wet area. After completing one sheet, we will leave it to dry completely before we start painting the other sheet using the glazing technique, wherein you paint over the dried surface of the painted area so that the paint underneath is seen through the newly painted color. This will give us the transparent effect of the glass sheets, giving an effect of glass sheets kept one behind the other. Notice that I am painting over the masked surfaces or masked areas which we had masked out using a masking fluid earlier before the start of the painting, and we started painting only after the masking fluid was completely dry. We will be removing this masking fluid once our painting is almost coming to the end and we want to finish off those masked out surfaces. As for the glass sheets, the surface at the very back is going to show through a little bit through the glass, and therefore we add a little bit of tones of that surface too. I'm using a wide brush to wet off the surface behind. This will make the process more faster. And now I'm painting the rearmost surface. At times you work from background to foreground. In this case I worked from foreground to background, which is only a matter of choice or personal preference. Now that the painting is mostly done, we will be removing the dried up masking fluid. Now care has to be taken to see that we remove each and every speck of the masking fluid that we applied earlier, because if you leave out even a small speck, later on there is a chance of it catching dust and spoiling the painting. So do take care to remove all of the masking fluid that you applied earlier. Once the masking fluid is removed, paint over the remaining elements. For a final effect and as a finishing touch, we are going to use the spray technique here and there, which gives a nice texture to the painting. And that's it. The painting is ready. Hope you liked the video. If you liked it, do subscribe to the channel for more demos. See you next time.